Hello and welcome to FatbossTV. Today we're having a look at the Icky Ichors achievement from the Shadowmoon Burial Grounds on Heroic.
That's right, so this achievement isn't really too complicated, it just requires you to have a significantly well-geared tank.
Yeah, or just a hell of a lot of CC.
Yeah.
Preferably both, to be honest.
Yeah, which is what we had.
Exactly. So the whole idea of this achievement is to get it so Bonemaw, which is the third boss, you know, the giant boss who does his inhale, you need him to inhale 25 Corpse Skitterlings, which are the tiny little spiders that you get in huge packs around the whole instance. So you need to bring all of those to the boss and get him to inhale them, and then after you kill the boss, you'll get the Icky Ichors achievement. And that's as simple as that. It's not too difficult. However, it's the fact that you got to try and keep all of those ads alive while dealing with other bits of trash that, to be honest, especially at the beginning of the expansion, are really, really hurting.
And because there is 25 ads hitting your tank all at the same time, you do pretty much need to use forms of CC just so you can actually get all the ads to the boss. So the spiders themselves can be found throughout the entire instance, but you don't need to start picking up these spiders until after the second boss. And they can be found in 3 separate packs. And within these 3 packs, if you pick up all the spiders and you don't manage to kill any of them, that should be 32 or so spiders. So if some of them do accidentally die somehow, it shouldn't be a massive deal as long as you still have those 25. The first pack of spiders can be found on the balcony that overlooks the bridge towards the third boss. And within this pack, you'll have plague bats, which do a shit ton of damage to your tank. Not so much with their melee hits, but they apply a dot that is a disease. If you don't have anyone in your group that can dispel this disease, you probably want to kite, unless the tank can just chain cooldowns and your healer can spam heal him. But the most important thing in this pack, really, after you killed the bats, is just making sure that you are interrupting the monstrous corpse spiders, because they do an ability called Necrotic Burst, which does even more damage to your raid and your tank. So make sure that is interrupted. And while this is going on, you want to make sure that you kite these spiders. You don't do any AoE, because if any of these spiders die, it's going to make the achievement more difficult.
Yeah.
And then you need to start making your way down the ramp towards the second pack.
Now the second pack is just a bunch of corpse spiders on the ramp as you go down. Literally just pick them up, just make sure you have enough threat on them, maybe do like one small AoE ability as the tank just so you have threat on them. And then the third pack is in the cave underneath, and in there are no bats, but there are some spiders. So once again, you got to single down those spiders, make sure you interrupt all of their horrible abilities so your tank don't die. And at this point you also want to be using quite a lot of CC in order to make it so of course, you haven't got all these bloody spiders on your tanks. At this point, if you haven't killed any of them, you have just over 30 probably. So you've got to be very careful. Like, using things like Binding Shot is awesome. You can Entangling Roots them. You can do anything that you want. Just mass CC on them. Just make sure they don't die.
Now, this is the hardest part of the achievement coming up right here, where you need to cross the bridge to actually get to the boss. And on the bridge, you do need to kill both worms that spawn. And you are going to pull the bats at the exact same time. If you manage to pull the bats on their own, that is perfect. You can just single the bats down. We actually took the bats with one of the worms, which was kind of deadly. It hurt a lot. If this does happen, you just need to make sure that you kite as well as you possibly can. Again, using knockbacks, make sure that someone can dispel the tank if that's possible. And really, if your tank has cooldowns up, this is the best time to use them. And it's also at this point on these 2 worms where your healer may well be struggling with mana. And of course, the healer cannot leave combat because there's all these little spiders up. What might be a good idea is if the healer does need mana, you might want your tank to just run away from the boss in the opposite direction, have a load of people put down CC, and he can just kite all day while the healer just stands still and just regens. If you really need to do that, that is a good idea. You do need a bit of mana before you pull the boss. Because once you do finally kill those 2 worms and you do go on the boss, and your healer is and you guys wipe, you guys won't get the achievement at all. So you need to make sure that the healer does have some form of mana before you pull the boss, at least enough mana to actually kill the boss.
Yeah, because of course you did all this crazy CC and shit and going through all of it with all these bloody spiders, and then you actually get to the boss, he inhales them all, that's great, but you actually got to kill the motherfucker, so of course you got to make sure that you do that.
And if he inhales the spiders, that's it, they're gone. They're not coming back, which means you'd have to re-sign if you wanted to do the achievement again.
Exactly.
But that's all there is to it. Essentially, it's just all about CC and how good your tank is.
Exactly, 100%. Like, bringing a really good CC group to this is pretty much key, especially if you've got, like, mass entangling roots. Like, we had a Frost Mage and a Hunter as well, me playing my Hunter. Like, you could pretty much permanently CC them. So as long as you can just have all of that mass CC on all of those ads, you should be absolutely fine.
And you can take as much time as you want. There's no time requirement with this achievement, and the boss is exactly the same as normal when you get to him, so... But that's all there is to this achievement, guys. If this video did help you out, please do drop us a like. Helps us out significantly. And we'll see you in the next 5-man guide video.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.